Smart 24, driving business. No data, no problem. Zabu allows you to buy or sell securities on the Altex exchange from anywhere in Uganda via USSD. Step 1. To buy, dial *292#. Step 2. Select buy. Step 3. Select the product you would like to buy. For example, bonds. Step 4. Select your preferred maturity year. Step 5. Select the bond you would like to buy. Step 6. Input an amount of 15,000 Ugandan shillings or more. Step 7. Your order has been forwarded for processing. And finally, Step 8. Your order has been confirmed.
Hello there, and welcome back from that short break which we had with discussion with Sebale Anthony together with Mr. Okello about investments. Now we are diving into the stock market performance. I'm Nampiche Clara Christine together with
Victor Chiveru,
and we are going to analyze how it went down on the Uganda Securities Exchange as the day of yesterday. What do you have for us, Victor?
Well, it was quite an eventful day, as you have stated, and we have seen a lot of interesting things going on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and we're here to bring you all the details. So for starters, we have some exciting news about the market indices. Looking at the Uganda Stock Exchange All-Share Index, it is up by 1.45 points, which is a 0.16% increase.
And that's actually a promising discussion, and for all our viewers' benefit, it makes a 1 week gain of around 0.56%. So the index currently stands at 929.09, which is still around 23.38 year-to-date gain.
Right, Gloria. It's been a roller coaster ride for the Uganda Stock Exchange this year, but what's driving these changes in the index?
One of the gainers that contributed to the increase of the index is actually East African Brewers Limited, with a remarkable 2.33% share price appreciation. It closed at around 3,200 Ugandan shillings per share.
Well, East African Breweries is a solid performer. Now, as for the losers, Jubilee Holdings Limited took the biggest hit with 3.07% share price depreciation. They closed at 4,711.28 Ugandan shillings per share.
Interesting, Victor. And on the trading volume side, we have Bank of Baroda that took the lead with a massive 1.56 million shares traded, followed closely by MTN Uganda, Stanbic Uganda, and Cipla.
Going straight to what was the most fascinating activity on this exchange, we're looking at an 87% decline in turnover, which is implying that although there were more shares traded, the overall value of the traded shares wasn't as high as the day before.
And yet it's fascinating, actually. It could indicate that the smaller and medium-sized traders were more active, or might be a sign of different trading patterns. But speaking of changes, we can't ignore the market capitalization.
Not at all, Gloria. Actually, the market capitalization of the Uganda Stock Exchange currently stands at 16.1 trillion Ugandan shillings. And that's a significant figure. Actually, it is a testament of the strength of our market.
It certainly is, Victor. The USE has been making strides in improving liquidity and trade efficiency. A notable move was the implementation of the automated trading system in July 2015, which has helped reduce settlement in terms of 5 to 3 days.
Well, those improvements are crucial for market participants. Quicker settlement times mean more efficient trading and a reduced risk of the counterparty issues.
Absolutely. And in another area of interest, the US USE is quite a unique publication of the USE Local Companies Index, which tracks the performance of domestic equities on the exchange.
Well, indeed, actually, it's all about creating an efficient marketplace where buyers and sellers of securities can move together.
Exactly, and looking at the local index, it allows us to understand how all these local businesses and companies are doing, and particularly important given the recent global economic shifts.
Well, looking at the above information, and we're looking at an alignment, and we have seen the Uganda Stock Exchange offer opportunities for companies, whether large or small, and of course this is to access investment capital.
Exactly, and it's all about creating an efficient marketplace where buyers and sellers of securities can come together.
Well, that's the essence of a stock exchange. Actually, it's about facilitating capital flow and allowing investors to become part owners of companies.
The US's contribution to the company's economic transformation is actually remarkable, Victor. It aligns with the government's policy of moving towards private sector-based economy, which has been the trend in many parts of the world.
And let's not forget the introduction of the Uganda Stock Exchange All-Share Index back in October 2003, and it provides a market-weighted average index that includes all listed stocks, going back to a base value of 100 as of December 31st, 2000.
A remarkable benchmark for investors to gauge over the performance of the exchange. But remember, it's always important to dig deeper and analyze individual stocks.
Absolutely, Gloria. Actually, we've got a range of equities listed on the Uganda Stock Exchange, from British American Tobacco Uganda to Bank of Baroda Uganda, and even cross-listed stocks from other exchanges like the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
And Victor, before we dive further into the Uganda Securities Exchange, it's worth discussing the recent developments on the market. So what are your thoughts on these driving changes?
Well, looking at our performance as of today, this year has been marked by several ups and downs. So while stocks have performed well, others have faced losses, and it is quite normal. It is indeed normal behavior within the financial markets. But it would be interesting to explore the factors affecting these trends. Could it be global economic conditions or more localized factors?
That's a great point, Victor. We have seen East African Breweries Limited performing well. Perhaps it reflects an increasing interest in consumer goods, or it could be simply company specific.
Actually, another question that comes to my mind is the impact of government policies on the stock market. Government decisions, regulations, and economic policies often play a significant role in market movements. So I wonder if any specific policies have influenced the Uganda Stock Exchange this year.
Absolutely, Victor. And speaking of economic factors, do you think regional economic landscape has been bearing any of the USE's performance, with Uganda's trade patterns in East African regions such as Kenya and Tanzania? How do your regional economic events affect the market?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, it's well known that regional stability and economic activities can have a significant impact on stock markets. So understanding how these markets interplay with the Uganda Stock Exchange would provide really valuable insights.
Sure, Victor. And I'm also curious about the investor segment in Uganda. Are we seeing more local investors participating in the market, or is it the increased interest from international investors? This could be driving the changes in the market.
Indeed, actually, and let's not forget about the role of technological advancements. You mentioned the automated trading system introduced in 2015. It reduced settlement times. So how has technology transformed the market landscape, and what more can we expect in the future?
Technology is a game changer, Victor, and we should explore whether the USE has plans for further innovations in trading systems, or perhaps the inclusion of digital assets in the future.
I agree. Actually, this is an exciting era for financial markets, and staying ahead in technology can make all the difference. So now shifting gears a bit, what's your take on the diversification of investments, because I would want to know how important it is for investors to have a diversified portfolio, especially in a market like the Uganda Stock Exchange.
As we have always put it, Victor, investment and diversification is really the key principle when it comes to investment. It helps us spread risk, and it's always interesting to discuss how these investors can achieve it in the market with a limited number of listed equities. Are there other options investors to diversify their portfolio beyond stocks, Victor?
Excellent point, actually. We should also look at the role of bonds on the Uganda Stock Exchange, with treasury bonds and corporate bonds listed. How are they being utilized by investors? What strategies can be employed with bonds, especially in times of stock market volatility?
Bonds can actually provide a set of opportunities and risks. And while we are on a topic of strategies, what kind of trading strategy do you see used more in the USE? Are they day trading? Is it value investing or long-term holding? Which is more popular?
Good question, actually. Different strategies suit different types of investors. So understanding the preferences of market participants would be very insightful.
Victor, one last question before we go into the different equities that traded yesterday. Where do you see the USE headed in this coming year? Do we see any upcoming events or market changes that our viewers could keep an eye out for?
Well, as usual, predicting market movements is always a challenge. But analyzing potential catalysts or changes in market dynamics could very much help to provide some perspective. I look forward to discussing these topics further in our next segment.
Okay. We'll be back shortly with details concerning one of our top gainers as of yesterday and bottom losers on the USE. Thank you.
Smart 24, driving business.